Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on the game Spellbreak. Today I'm going to talk about another core mechanic of the game, runes. Quick reminder before I get into the video, however, the game is still under a non-disclosure agreement, which means I can only showcase and discuss what Proletariat Inc. has already made public. As of right now, there's public footage of 8 different runes in the game. Whether these are all the runes in the game or not, I can't comment on due to the NDA. Today I'm primarily going to talk about these 6 runes. These two also exist, however the public information on these is very limited, so I'm not going to be discussing them today. In this video I'll quickly go over how these 6 runes work, give a bit of insight on how they can be utilized, as well as provide my own thoughts on the runes in general. Runes are controlled by a cooldown between every use, just like the gauntlet sorceries. Most runes carry an active effect, which resolves directly as they are used. However, there are also runes with more persistent passive effects. A lot of the runes have to do with mobility, but there are exceptions to this as well. Certain runes are more popular than others, and some might be more all-rounded while others are more niche. One thing that can be said about the runes, however, is that they all have their moments. Utilizing your rune well can be very important for being victorious in your battles, and taking on fights without a rune available will leave you at a big disadvantage. One of the most straightforward runes is the teleportation rune. This rune lets you teleport to a location, believe it or not. The rune can both be used offensively and defensively, as both an engage and a disengage mechanic. The teleportation rune is very quick to resolve, and therefore can be effective to put you in a good position against your enemy. It also works very well for vertical mobility to quickly climb buildings. The teleportation rune has tons of applications, and is in most cases a good pick. So good of a pick actually that Proletariat Inc. has, as I'm recording this video, just announced that it's getting a nerf both in a longer cooldown as well as a shorter max range. The Featherfall rune launches you into the air before slowly falling back towards the ground. The rune is most effective in direct combat with enemies. Vertical mobility is very important in Spellbreak, and shooting down onto your opponents with your gauntlets can be devastating. While very strong in close combat for getting a positional advantage, it can potentially leave you open for third-party players, as it makes you a good target to, for example, ice lances. The rune has a pretty short cooldown and can also be utilized for getting high ground and scaling structures quickly. The blink rune is another rune that is applicable in many situations. The rune lets you dash forward a short distance. Unlike the other runes, the blink rune stacks up to 3 times, meaning you can blink 3 times in a row to cover longer distances. Each blink stack also has a very short recharge time, meaning it will most likely be available in the beginning of fights. The blink rune can be very effective to quickly getting up to your enemies or getting places otherwise difficult to reach, as well as dodging incoming projectiles. The blink rune is a solid pick in most situations and will always come in handy. The Shadow Step rune has a similar mechanic to the Blink rune, as it also lets you quickly dash forward. On top of that, however, the rune also leaves you invisible for a few seconds after dashing. This can be very useful for shaking enemies on your trail, as well as sneaking up to unsuspecting targets. While it doesn't cover the most distance, it does offer you a bit of mobility, and combined with an invisibility effect, the rune can be utilized in many ways. Similar to the teleportation rune, the flight rune can be used to quickly cover longer distances and get out of tricky situations. While the teleportation rune concludes faster, the flight rune comes with the added benefit of choosing your destination as you go. It can be very hard to predict where a flight rune user is going, and unless you're a skilled sniper, shooting down flying enemies isn't the easiest. That being said, it does leave you a bit vulnerable, which makes the teleportation rune superior in a lot of situations. The flight rune can be very effective chasing down enemies, however, and seeing as it is possible to cancel the rune whenever you'd like, you have the possibility to quickly get back into battle. The last rune I'm going to talk about today is the Wolf's Blood rune. This rune grants you the possibility to see enemies through structures within a radius around you for 30 seconds. The rune is very good for chasing down enemies hiding, as well as getting the first engage in fights against other players. Seeing enemies through walls is of course a very powerful ability and can easily give you the upper hand in combat. What's troublesome using the rune, however, is that unlike the other runes showcased, it doesn't grant you any form of mobility. This does cripple you a bit in battle, primarily as it can't be used as a disengagement tool. Runes add another interesting mechanic to the game, which makes for a lot more fluent combat and helps with the pacing of the game, as it grants players the possibility to quickly cover longer distances. While they might not appear as flavorful as the gauntlets, they do add another level of depth to combat, and utilizing your runes well does take some mastering. I think Proletariat Inc. did a very good job with the runes, as they don't overshadow other features and abilities, but at the same time they feel useful and rewarding when used well. Thank you for watching the video. Big shout out to all the players I've used clips from today. Their links can be found in the description, as well as Proletariat Inc. for providing the gameplay footage. I'm very thankful for the positive feedback on my last video. Seeing as I'm still very new to making YouTube videos, I appreciate any feedback you might have to help me improve my content for the future. Goodbye.